What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. You probably like what we got going on. If you can't tell, which you should be able to, shop is empty. And that usually means new project, or we're switching projects, something along them lines. If you watched the last video, we messed around with the Catalina and had some issues with it. So I'm waiting on feedback from that. I'm also kind of gathering parts off camera type thing. So we're on to something else. Now, I mentioned in the end of the last video that I wanted to start doing buy, sell, trade up type thing, challenge, whatever you want to call it. I used to make all kinds of money back in the day before YouTube, and it was just buying, selling cars, fixing them, put a little money in them, sell it for more, or trade it for something better, and just continue that process. I had a 66 Coronet here. It was on the channel, a couple videos, and I didn't really do anything with it, and I kind of severely lost interest in the car, and it just was sitting around. So I posted it up for sale, and nobody wanted it, and I ended up getting offered this new vehicle for it, and I went ahead and just traded for it. Now, I am kind of in the hole as far as money goes on the Coronet and the new vehicle, which is no big deal because we're going to make our money back with doing a trade-up style thing. So what we're going to do is get this thing in here. It doesn't run the best, so we got to do a little work to it, and we got to do a little bit of visual upgrades. But without further ado, this is the new vehicle that I picked up. Yeah, a Jeep. I've owned 2 Cherokees in my time. I've never owned a Wrangler. So, I'm going to get this thing in here and just start looking at it. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know it runs-ish. I know it moves. That's about it. I got a list of stuff the previous owner did to it, and we just got to figure out what we're going to do to it. I'm going to get it in here real quick, and we'll look over it. Now, it does have an issue with starting. I know this is starting off great. It just long cranks when you first start it when it's cold. It's almost like the fuel pressure is bleeding off. So I did go ahead and rented a fuel pressure tester, but we'll get into that here in a minute. So I'm gonna get this thing just in the garage real quick, and then I'll show you guys a little closer what it is. Well, here she is. It barely, and I mean barely, cleared to get in my garage. But anyways, like I was saying, I don't know anything about this Jeep other than what I was told. I've never even driven it down the road. Yeah, that was probably stupid, but he backed it off the trailer. I made sure it went into all 5 gears. That's right, it's a stick shift. It went into reverse. The clutch felt okay in the backyard. And I said, sure, let's make a deal. I was tired of looking at that stinking Coronet. So now we got us a Jeep. Was it a good trade? Time will tell. But anyways, we should be able to dig out of whatever hole that we're in just by trading, selling, buying after this vehicle. The way I see it, I am roughly, I would say, probably close to $2,000 into this Jeep. I feel like I should be able to get that out of this thing easily. Now, it's ugly, and we got a lot of, clear coat peeling off. We do have body rust, which I do have plans for all of that. Plus sides, though, it already has, I think he said, a 2 or 3 inch lift, 33-inch tires. It even has the spare 33. Like I did say, it is a stick shift. The interior's not that terrible. I'm not sure what's going on with the back seat, just kind of crooked. That is a subwoofer back there, so that's a plus. But yeah, this thing's not too bad, but she is rough in the body rust department, which, like I said, I got a fix for that. Under the hood, it is the 4-cylinder. I know it would have been cooler if it was the inline, but you can't win them all. Come on. But it's just a little 4-cylinder in here. Right off the rip, see it has a new radiator. I did notice that it has a new water pump down there. Like the coolant temp sensor right here is new. But yeah, we just got to figure out what's going on with it. Like I said, it long starts when it's cold, and it just did it to me when I went to pull it in here. It'll just sit there, crank, 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 and it takes 2 or 3 times, sometimes even more than that, to get it to fire back up. And then when it does run, it idles pretty terrible, I'm not gonna lie. And then when you first hit the gas, it has a dead spot. To me, it seems like fuel pressure, kind of in a way. But like I said, I rented a fuel pressure tester, so we're gonna do that first thing right off the rip. Now, the guy I got it from did say he put a new fuel pump in it, the new sending unit, the fuel filter, and the what do you call it? The regulator. He said all that stuff is new. Now, is it? I don't know. I didn't get any receipts for anything. Only thing I can see so far from the 5 minutes that I've looked at this thing, that the radiator and the water pump and a temp sensor is new. That's about all I can tell you. So let me prop the hood on this thing the rest of the way, and let's start taking a look at her. All right, I've got the fuel pressure gauge hooked up to the fuel rail. It just screws onto your Schrader valve here on your fuel rail. It's simple. You unscrew the cap, put this on there, screw it on, and then you turn the key on. So let me set this hopefully somewhere where we can see it, maybe here, and turn the key on. I mean, that's what it should be. Should be right at 30 is what everybody was saying online. Let me fire this thing up and we'll see where it's at. I gotta hop in here and hit the clutch. There, you guys watch this, see what happens. Well, the fuel pressure is doing everything that it should do. It's still currently holding just above 30. So our long crank has nothing to do with fuel pressure. Might have to think about this just a little bit longer now. I was hoping it would just be that, change a fuel pump or change the regulator, something along them lines. I do know these Jeeps have problems with, what do you call them, the crank sensors on them. I'll have to look at the list that guy gave me of everything that he changed on it, and I'll be back with you guys. Okay, there's a few things I want to try. I'm going to go ahead and leave this fuel pressure tester hooked up just until, well, just so I can keep an eye on it and make sure it's not doing anything funny. Might as well while I have it here. I'm going to take some of this because it looks like it has a new intake and exhaust gaskets on it. And it's all one big piece. And I'm going to spray around that. Maybe we can find a vacuum leak somewhere. I do know this thing has a terrible belt squeal, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, let me fire this thing back up, if it will. And I'm just going to spray around. It shouldn't change the idle at all with this or anything, because if everything's sealed up, the only way that it should change the idle is if I spray it in the front of the air box over here. So let me fire this thing back up. Sorry for the belt squeal, and let me spray some of this juice on it. I don't know, guys. The warmer it gets, seems like the better it's running. So it makes me wonder, I know this has a map sensor and it also has an idle air control valve down here. Maybe, it could be a shot in the dark, but maybe. Oh, actually, that's not even plugged in, the idle air control valve. Don't tell me it's gonna be that easy. No, it doesn't really seem to want to plug in. Either way, that could be an issue there. But anyways, spraying the brake clean around, I didn't notice any sort of vacuum leaks or anything, so that's a plus. That's something else we can cross off the list. I was also reading, when you give these things, when you rev them up, you're supposed to get an increase in fuel pressure, and it does do that. So that means the fuel pump and the regulator are all operating as they should. So we can knock those off the list. I'm gonna venture back to, it's gotta be a sensor type of thing causing it to do what it's doing. I'm not sure just yet. I know the temp gauge doesn't work, so I need to figure that one out too. I know it has a new one up here, but this one isn't for the gauge. You can tell because there should be 2 temp sensors on most everything that is computerized. One is for the computer, and the other one will be just for the gauge that's on the dash. The one that's on the dash should be a single wire plug. This is a dual wire, so that one is for the computer, which is good because that one's actually in there. And I know that also controls some kind of timing and stuff and fuel mixtures for when it's cold, but that's a brand new sensor and it's plugged in. So we can cross that one off the list. Now, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do first. I don't see it being a coil, just because usually those break down when they get hot, not when they're cold. It's not completely off the radar just yet, but regardless, I need to figure out why the idle air control valve is not plugging in, and maybe we'll take it out and see if we can't clean it up a little bit and put it back in just to see. We got nothing to lose. I also found a ground strap here that's from the firewall that's not hooked up. I tried to rub it around on some metal. It didn't really change anything. And then there's this harness plug here. It's a relay. It's missing one of the wires is pulled out of it. I'm not sure what that's for. I'll have to do some digging. I don't see any other relays across the firewall here, so let's figure out what and why there was a relay out here on the firewall. See what that's for. That could be something doubtful, but let me do some more digging, see what I can find, and I'll touch base with you. Well, I went ahead and pulled out the idle air control valve. It does plug in. It's just you got to really cram it. Now, I don't know if it wasn't plugged in before, or I mean, obviously it wasn't clipped in, but the plug was hanging out of it. I did go ahead and clean this up. Sometimes you can get carbon buildup around here, and I just took a Scotch-Brite to it and cleaned it up, made sure it was clean. I'm gonna throw this back in. If it doesn't fix it, that doesn't mean that this is good. So I'm probably gonna go ahead, and I already ordered one of these. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it on here. It won't be until tomorrow though, so maybe cleaning it up will give us a glimpse of hope and it'll make it a little better. But yeah, I'm gonna throw this back in there and see what happens. Hopefully this will fix it. Probably not though. Let's see. Okay, next day we got parts. That did not end up fixing it. So obviously, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and change it out anyways. I got a new idle air control, and also I did end up finding the temp sensor for the gauge, and it is broken off. So I also got one of those. So hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm gonna swap these out real quick. It's just 2 bolts to hold this in, and then this is just its own little self-contained unit here. Just 1 bolt, nothing too serious. It just screws into the head, easy peasy. So I'm gonna swap those out, and then hopefully, maybe, it should run better, in theory. So if it doesn't, I'm not sure where to go after that, but either way, we got to start somewhere. So let me chuck all this stuff in here, and we'll hit the key and see what happens. Well, that fixed it. I went ahead and just threw everything back together. We're going to move on to other stuff now. I also fixed the belt squeal. The pulley down here, the tensioner down here, the bracket was just a little bit bent. Grabbed a hold of it with one of these, fixed her up just right. I can fire up and show you guys. Running great, like it should. No issues, no belt squeal. That's awesome. So let's move on the inside of this thing and see what we can't do in there as far as the way it looks inside of here. There's dog hair everywhere. The back seat is just sitting there crooked, so I'm assuming it's not even bolted in. The radio doesn't work. Anyways, let's hop in here, see what we can do. Well, guys, that fixed it up the way it needed to be. Well, guys, that fixed it. I went ahead and just threw everything back together. I also fixed the belt squeal. The pulley down here, this is the tensioner pulley itself. It was sitting in there just a little bit crooked. I grabbed a hold of it with this thing, and I just adjusted the bracket just a little bit. The belt squeal's gone. The temp sensor, the gauge is actually now working, and it runs just like it should. I'll give her a fire up here so you guys can hear it, but she's doing awesome. Fires up just like it should. Idles just like it should. This thing's gonna be awesome. I think I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the inside of this thing. I think that's about all I'm gonna do underneath the hood for now. There's a bunch of dog hair all over everything in here. The radio isn't working. We got a dash light that's out, and the rear seat is just sitting in there crooked. I don't know if it's not bolted down. I'm not sure what's going on back there. I haven't even looked yet. So let's jump on the inside of this thing. That might be a tomorrow job. But yeah, we're gonna hop on the inside of this. And also there's a system, speaker wire everywhere. Just like this one here. It runs down to this fuse box, and then it necks down into this tiny wire, runs over there into the firewall, and then there's another one over on this side. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and rip all of this stuff out of here. There's no need for all that. So I'm gonna rip all that out, figure out if we can't get this radio to work. I don't even know if it does or not. We're gonna figure that out. And then yeah. This thing is almost ready to be thrown back up online. We gotta do something with this chalk paint. Maybe we can. And then maybe we'll do something with the rust on the side. We'll find out. But let's hop on the inside of this thing, see what we can do in there. All right, on the inside of this thing, it's not terrible, but it definitely needs a good cleaning. There is just, like right here beside the seat, there's just hair everywhere. Like it's everywhere. So we're going to have to clean the carpet real good. Let me get this seat up. It's kind of a pain. Those are kind of nifty. The whole thing just kind of goes forward. But like I was saying about this seat, it's in here crooked. I didn't even mess with it. Yeah, it's not even bolted down. We got 2 amplifiers back there. We just got all kinds of goodies. So I'm just going to go through this thing, take out everything that shouldn't be in here, like all the amps. There's a speaker in the back there. We're going to get that out of there. And just vacuum this thing, make it look a lot better in here. And just doctor it up. Like I said, just got to look good for resale. That's all we're going for. So let me get the old shop vac out, start digging out all this garbage, and then we'll see what's going on with this rear seat. Like I said, I'm not sure. No idea. So, all right, let's get after it. All right, next day. I spent a bunch of time in here getting this thing all cleaned up. It actually looks a lot better in here. It cleaned up pretty good. I got the rear seat back in it. It was just unclipped. I pulled the radio out, or not the radio, the speaker out. What else did I do? Oh, the amount of speaker wire that was in this thing. There was 2 amps, a subwoofer, and a mass amount of wiring that was... All of this came out of there. Just stop. If you don't know what you're doing, just don't. That's obnoxious. Like, there was... I'll just show you this. That's 3 wires taped into one, and it's... Anyways, now I'm done on the inside. We're going to move around to the outside. I've already started the other side to get an idea of what I wanted to do. And what we're attempting to fix is the rust on the outside. And that's down in here and back here. It is the same on both sides of this thing. Like I said, I've already done the other side, and I feel like it came out good. Yes, it's just a Band-Aid, but Jeep guys do this all the time. So I guess I'm a Jeep guy now. You can literally buy panels for Jeeps online that are the same thing. I had some steel laying around, and I just decided to make my own. So check this out. This is all I did. Made a panel and just riveted on the truck. Yeah, there's still a hole here, but I'm not worried about that. The fender bolts on. I'm on Marketplace. I've been keeping an eye out. There's a few fenders floating around, but if I find one, I'll get one. If not, it is what it is. I'm not worried about it. But this looks so much better than what we had before. Like, it's not pretty by any means. Like, you can't tell me the other side don't look better than that. And like I said, you could buy those panels online. They even make them for all the way around the side and around the back. It was a no-brainer. I have the steel laying here. It was free. Only thing I had to do, I think I spent 50 bucks. I bought a rivet gun because I didn't have one. Bought some rivets, some primer, and a can of satin black spray paint. That's it. But I'll show you what I did. Let me get this cleaned off, and I'll explain to you how I did it, what I did, and how I got it on there. All right, this here piece of steel is the panel for the other side. The cool thing about this is, after I took the time and all the effort to do this side, I just laid it on another piece. It matches. It's the same on the other side, just the mirror image. So, only thing I did was take this full sheet, I took the door off of this side, and I held it up against the Jeep, and then I traced around the inside there, and then I unbolted the bottom of this inner fender and traced the line on the back so it wasn't running into the tire. The front's just square, ends with the fender. And then I took it and I laid it on this sheet of steel here, and it's probably hard for you to see, but there's a Sharpie mark right here. Goes all the way down, that's for the door, and then this here is for the rear tires. So I'm just gonna notch that out with the grinder. I didn't use any fancy tools. I used my grinder with a cutoff wheel, and then I have a flapper wheel, like a sanding disc wheel. I used it to smooth up the corners, sanded it down with my DA, primed it, painted it black. That simple. So let me get on that. I'll show you this one. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this thing. I don't want to put too much time and effort into it. Like I said, this is our starting vehicle. We made it run good, and we made it look so much better with these side panels. So I think I'm going to call it there for what I've done to it. Like I said, either way, that looks a lot better. So interior's cleaned out. She runs good. What more could you ask for? So I think I'm just going to post this thing up the way it is. Here's this side all the way done now. Can't say it don't look better. I think it looks 100 times better. The only thing I got to do still is throw this marker light back in it. It needed a bulb. I pulled it out so I get the number off of it. And then I'm going to take some pictures of that thing, slam it up on the internet, and I guess I'll get back in touch with you guys whenever it sells, or we get on to the next vehicle. Like I said, I'll sell it outright or I'll trade it. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. We just got to keep moving forward with the vehicles. You can't just sell it and then just give up because you got a little bit of money in your pocket. So I'm going to keep doing this series. I've always found it a lot of fun to do stuff like this. It's easy money, a little bit of effort. You guys seen, I put what, 2 sensors in it and made some rocker guards. So to me, it was worth it. It was easy, and it should sell now. So I think that's going to do it for this, though. Like I said, I'm just going to put that light back in, maybe take it, give it a bath, and then post it up for sale. And yeah, I'll get back with you guys once that thing sells. It could be a week, could be 2 weeks, who knows. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I do appreciate you guys watching. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this stuff. If you don't want to see it, let me know. Either way, I'm going to be doing it on the side. I just figured might as well video it and show you guys. So, alrighty, that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.